Hello, it's Bob Butler again here at the center. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the birds chirping outside my window and the sprinklers running out front here at the center. It's only 60 degrees, but in Chicago that's shorts weather, and people are getting excited about getting out, seeing their neighbors again after this hibernation time. It's interesting to me how connected we get to our hibernation, and then all of a sudden we're like, woohoo, let's go, let's meet everybody. And then people ask the question, well, how do I be a neighbor, right? In fact, there's recent books published on how to be a neighbor. I find that absolutely amazing. And it's the reason at Renew we've started a study, Love Your Neighbor. Because it's so biblical to think about loving our neighbor, right? You can go back to the Old Testament, Leviticus 19:18, where it says, forget the wrong things people do to you. Don't even try to get even. Love your neighbor as yourself, because I am the Lord. Or when we see in Matthew, Jesus is saying very clearly, right? Here are the two greatest commandments. Love your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And then he goes on to say in one of the parables about going to heaven, you'll meet the king, and the king will ask you what you did. And it says, I can guarantee this truth. Whatever you did for one of my brothers or sisters, no matter how unimportant they seemed, you did for me. That's Matthew 25:40. So the question is, how do we love our neighbor effectively? And out of this study, we've kind of decided that we're going to focus in on the 5 love languages provided by Gary Chapman in a book that he's written for couples. But really, it is a worldwide phenomenon. How do we love our neighbor? And by using these 5 love languages, I've created 5 talks. This first one, words of affirmation, is what we'll be talking about today. But there's an acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. But today I want to talk about saying supportive things. Each one of these are different ways in which people kind of resonate with love. But I would tell you that what if we could figure out what someone's love language is in our neighborhood, in our neighbor, and then start to do those things or say those things or give those things or participate with them or just hang out with them? How could we do that better? What does it mean to give someone words of affirmation? Words of affirmation are spoken or written words that confirm, support, uplift, empathize with other people in a positive way, right? Now, this really helps us to kind of narrow it down for today. For people who gravitate towards words of affirmation, they find fulfillment with positive reinforcements via just compliments or praise. The reality is words of affirmation have to be authentic and meaningful, and if they're not, well, you might as well not even do them. Words of affirmation are truly appreciation, and appreciation is at the heart of having words of affirmation as a love language. It recognizes quality over quantity, substance over appearance. It promotes empathy and compassion and increases intimacy between two individuals and helps to keep them calm and supportive of one another. For me, as a man, words of affirmation are something I somehow crave. I don't know why it is my main love language. It is for me. But when I have to tell somebody that, I feel weak or less than, like I need somebody to pat me on the back. In fact, my wife and I make jokes about it. I go, was that a word of affirmation, or was that authentically telling me something positive, right? We can go back and forth with it. But I think it's true of the people you might work with. You might find out that somebody is really good at giving words of affirmation, maybe because they've never understood that they also are craving those things. I find that in myself. So how can I give words of affirmation that are effective? Well, first, they have to be direct. They have to be words that mean something to another individual. It can't be just because I think they're fishing for a compliment, so then that's how I'm giving them words of affirmation. No. It's not that. It's the direct understanding that what they're doing right at that moment is something you find valuable. And so by sharing that with them, it provides them a definite sense that the two of you understand one another. Now, if you find somebody who's always fishing for compliments, it's probably because they need words of affirmation. And so if you know that in the back of your mind, you don't necessarily have to wait for them to fish. You can provide it to them. And I'll tell you, that's going to go a lot further than anything else you can do for them. Literally, a word of affirmation said to them is more powerful than a pay raise, a gift, time with them. For them, it is this moment in which you have now shared something with me and you and I are connected. Now, a part of this is approach, right? I can't just go around and always go, hey, you're still great, love ya, you're just doing, I don't know, think of something mundane and say it's great. That's not going to work. It really has to be the perfect moment in which you're looking for someone else's love language in a way that you can provide it to them so that they know you care. Approach here is everything. Be calm. Be confident. Make sure you have an example of what they've done for you and give them praise as a part of that. I guarantee you this will intensify the relationship. Also, as part of this love language, you have to be authentic. That's really important. If you don't learn to be authentic, your love language, this love language, will get lost. And quite frankly, you'll come off as a phony person who they don't want anything to do with, and it will backfire on you. So words of affirmation, when you find somebody who needs a word of affirmation, be it a neighbor or someone else, provide them. Hey, you know what? You've got the best looking lawn in the neighborhood. That's awesome. Like, find things that they're invested in and tell them that those things are great for reasons that you honestly believe. Right? So many times people get lost in this. It's an easy thing to do. Now, maybe you're not a verbal processor. Maybe you're not somebody who can verbally tell someone how great they are, what they are about. But maybe you're better at writing down a line. You know what you could do? Simple. Write something meaningful. And it doesn't even have to be on a card. Put it on a Post-it note and put it on the window. Or send them a card in the mail with some specific things about them, about their life that you find admirable or impressionable. That's a way to share words of affirmation. Saying supporting things to somebody who has a love language of words of affirmation means that you need to express love more often in words. It's okay to write them down. Words matter, so it's what you say and how you say it. It's about authenticity. I've talked about that. It's about the idea that you know that words matter to them and they matter most, and that the more creative you can be with offering them words of positive affirmation about their life, about their work, about their family. Those are things that obviously are going to weigh deeply on them, and in that you'll be loving your neighbor. If you're looking for supportive statements, you're not somebody who can normally do this, well, you can go right to our website at renew-relationships.org and click on the Renew logo for Love Your Family and Friends, and it'll pull up a set of pages with some affirmations that are available. These came from a Symphony of Praise, great organization who provides just some specifics. If you're one of those people who are looking for words that specifically are words of affirmation, they have an entire list. There's 37 on this page that I'm looking at right now. Things like, thank you for taking care of me, you're a wonderful friend, you're my best friend, how did I get so lucky to have you as a friend, I'm so proud that you're my neighbor and that you handled that situation so well. I mean, there's just lots of ways to do this. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I look forward to next week when we move into the next Love Your Neighbor love language. Take care.